Hey, KT. How's it going? Are those cats? I don't really use the emotes on Twitch, so I'm not as good with knowing what they are. They look like cats for me though. Yes, they're cats. What's up, KT? How's it going? Thanks for coming back again. Thank you for everyone who is watching. I'm back. I'm ready for my by I don't know, tri-weekly punishment. What is it? I streamed this like 3 times in 1 week. Oh my god, KT, those emotes are so cute. So cute. Yes, I'm here. I'm here for my punishment. Um, Heaven Secret has not been a positive book so far. It's been very depressing. But I am addicted to the sadness. I'm addicted to the drama. And I am just so excited to keep reading. So, to kind of summarize where we're at in the story so far, this new villain named Plague is, yes, Katie said the anarchy, yes. Chaos, despair, all of those things. So, the new enemy for this book is, I guess, like the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and the first one is Plague. She's already come and been fucking everything up. If you were in a relationship in book one, which evidently my game doesn't think I was, uh, you've broken up with that person. People have been resurrected. Most of the characters have been resurrected, except for like Loy and Andy, thank God. And she has imprisoned us at the academy. So I don't really. Yes, Katie said people have died. People have definitely died. Multiple people have died. And the last episode, the last scene that we watched was Vicky, uh, having trying to kill her dad, not really being successful, and then Lucifer had to do it for her. Because I have a feeling both of their heads would have been knocked upside if they had come back without completing that task. So that is where we're at. I don't suspect that this episode is going to be much more uplifting, but like I said, I'm here for the drums, here for the sads. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, this is episode 4. Plague throws a ball. Ooh, yes, I remember. She did mention in the last episode that she wanted to have a little ball and little dance. Plague throws a ball where they dance upon bones and drink blood instead of wine. I'm so excited for this, even though there's really nothing to be looking forward to because it's so depressing. Hi, Eric. Thanks for joining. Oh my, every single time I start the stream, the music just rocks my eardrums. Absolutely batters it. I don't think it's as loud for you guys as it is for me, but it's so loud. You said you were going to stream the quarry, but then I remembered you're streaming and I'm here. Thank you, Eric. And let me know when you stream the quarry because I definitely watch. I didn't play the game, but I watched YouTubers play the game, and I really like the plot. Okay, I'm gonna remind everybody right now. I'm still kind of sick. So I'm gonna try my hardest not to just like cough and clear my throat into the camera. So if you hear me go like mute for a couple seconds here and there, it's because I'm trying to keep my bodily fluids and the noise that comes from them in check, so that way I'm not just making the noise into your ears. All right, here we go. Start off with our fun fact. Immortals can control their body temperature and their pain threshold and dull the sensations of hunger and thirst. Pain threshold, that's new. I was not aware of that because there were a lot of times where Vicky was in pain in the last book and she did not seem to be able to control it. So, very convenient that comes up now. But let's go ahead. Eric's gonna get people killed. I played it, only lost one character. Well, that's pretty good. What is LIS2, Eric? Oh, Love is Strange? Ah, yes. That was very sad. That was a very, very sad game, but I loved it. It was so good. Why did you hate it? Okay, so we're opening up the chapter. No, not Brenda Song, KT. We're opening up the chapter with another Vicky quote like we did the last one. I was always a restless child. I couldn't sit still, so I surrounded myself with wild and restless boys just like me. Oh my god, I love the background on this though. I have wondered, like, they don't really spend a lot of time in Heaven's Secret kind of diving into Vicky's backstory, other than like she was obviously close with her dad, she was an artist, she went to school for art, um, and yes, and like her mom died when she was young. Like, that's pretty much all we know about her. So I'm glad we're getting this characterization. I surrounded myself with wild and restless boys just like me. I climbed trees, explored abandoned buildings, and jumped from a rope swing while screaming my lungs out. I was not this adventurous as a kid. I was very safe. I was very scared of everything. My mom put the fear of God into me from a very young age, so I don't relate to this. I don't know if anyone relates to this, but I don't. This is opposite to me growing up. I was always at the center of things, sometimes as the cause of all kinds of misunderstanding. Unfortunately, nothing has changed in heaven. No, absolutely not. Eric said the ending was just too depressing for me. Yeah, well, what ending did you pick? Which did you pick? I like the ending. I don't know. I felt like um there was an upside to it, even though obviously the kind of precursor to the ending was quite sad. All right, episode 4, Plague's Ball. As you all have probably realized by the background, I picked the cheapest free bedroom. God damn it, there I go, fucking cleared my throat in the mic. The first thing I felt was a migraine, and there was a dull, aching pain deep in my chest, but it wasn't physical. How is it not physical if you feel it deep in your chest? I was still half asleep, enjoying a few moments of oblivion. Listen, sometimes the dialogue and narration in Heaven's Secret is a little silly, but I enjoy the story enough that I won't roast Atlas for it. But when the memories returned, sorrow crashed down on me like an avalanche of torment. There's something very heartbreaking. I feel like I've read quotes about this, like when you wake up and you feel fine and then you remember like how shitty everything is and then you're like sad, but there's this few seconds when you just woken up where everything is just peaceful, and the realization of what your life is. I've seen quotes about that and it's very heartbreaking. I love when authors focus on that moment of peace upon just waking up before you remember like who you are and what your life is. Oh, wait, hold on a second. I thought the entire time you guys were talking about Life is Strange uh True Colors. Yes, now oh yeah, no. Fuck Life is Strange 2. It was a great game. Let me just say that. I was obsessed with the game. But it doesn't really feel like there's a good ending. Eric said, I got the one where he goes to jail. I guess spoilers for Life is Strange 2 if you haven't played it, even though it's been out for years. I had the older brother go to Mexico with his LI while his brother gets house arrest. Yeah, I forgot that that wasn't called Life is Strange 2. I briefly forgot about the one with the brothers. Yeah, I think the first time I played, I got a similar ending where both of them got caught and the older one went to jail. I do think that the best ending is the one where he goes to Mexico, because I don't think it was right that he goes to jail. Um, However, I wasn't really a fan of the LIs in Life is Strange 2. They all just felt a little out of place for me, and I didn't feel like either one of them was a good match for the main character. So I just kept him a single. But when the memories returned, sorrow crashed down on me like an avalanche of torment. It's all real. That hair is tragic. Where's the wardrobe? Please. I need. Do I have to pay for this? Please don't tell me I just pay for that. I didn't see any diamonds spent. So I hope I didn't just pay for that. It doesn't feel like a free hair though, so that's why I'm scared. Someone touched my hand. Who the fuck is in here with me? I shuddered, watching with horror as the silhouette By the bed leaned over me, her face revealed by the moonlight. Is it plague? Oh my god, bitch. Can I get a moment of peace? You're awake. Go away. Lucifer said you did it. That you killed your father. Oh, is she gonna check on that? I sharply turned my head towards her. I wanted to say that it wasn't true, but I stopped myself in time. Yeah, just keep lying until she discovers the truth. Why did Lucifer lie to her? Because he's trying to make sure your ass don't get killed. Exploded like everyone else. The thought of him sent a shiver of disgust through me. Why? Because he killed your dad? Oh boy. Here we go. Oh, the dramatics. Oh, Vicky's so dramatic. Now I could only see him as the murderer of the person dearest to me. Okay. This man saved your life by doing the one thing that you couldn't fucking do. And thank God he fucking did it. KT said, they were adults being with the 17-year-old. Yeah, that's kind of the thing that gave me the ick. I was like, why are they so, like, comfortable being with him? Eric said, true colors, both LIs are great, but I prefer Steph. See, I didn't really like Steph that much. I thought she was fun, but I never got romantic vibes with her, which I suppose is probably the way a lot of, like, queer relationships are coded. Maybe I just read that. Maybe I just read it that way. I don't know. KT, I also loved Ryan. Wow, the Lucifer hate come through on the chat. I will say, so I've watched kind of all the episodes that I've played. I went ahead and rewatched it because, as I've established, my game did not recognize that, like, I played through all the way because I reset it, trying to play the Mimi route, didn't finish it, so it just kind of gave me the default no LI route. So I did go back and watch, like, the first couple of episodes that I've already played through, so I don't have any spoilers, with Lucifer, and then I watched, like, the first episode with Mimi, because Mimi would be, like, my second LI of choice if it wasn't Lucifer. And the relationship between Mimi in the beginning of, like, Heaven's Secret 2 versus Lucifer, way more healthy. Like, I feel like Vicky and Mimi actually like each other, and then, like, Vicky and Lucifer, like, don't, like, they're butting heads, and it's very awkward to read. And I thought it was weird that, like, they wrote tension in between, like, all the LIs except for Mimi. So yeah, when I read the actual dialogue for Mimi for the beginning of Heaven's Secret 2, I was like, oof, that's a little better than the bickering that's happening between Vicky and Lucifer. Katie, you described Steph as a yes woman. I mean, to be honest, like, I barely remember her, so I don't know. Eric said, with Lucifer, it just seems like less rather than love. I don't disagree with you. I would hope that, you know, after 10 years, they develop some sort of connection, right? Because that's a long time. But, yeah, I mean, I'm with Lucifer because he's hot. That's really my primary driver, because the man's fine. Alright, Hero's Plague. You deserve a reward, my favorite toy. I've prepared some lovely outfits for you to wear to the ball. I mean, and what's wrong with that, Eric? What's wrong with that? I won't go. Why is... If you've watched the previous streams, you know that I don't like Vicky in this book. I don't know why. She is tempting fate right now. Why would you disagree with her to her face? I turned away, staring lifelessly out the window. Plague squeezed my wrist sharply, and it was only by some miracle that I managed to hold in a cry. You have it all wrong. That wasn't a suggestion. Kate, look at Kate. That's right. I'm on KT's side. There is nothing wrong with Lucifer Sect. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I do think Mimi and Vicky, probably out of all of the openings that I read, seemed the most compatible, which, like, makes sense, right? Because I feel like they actually have, like, a lot of fun together. Like, I also watched the opening with Malbonte. I mean, literally stiff as a fucking board. Malbonte is so boring. Oh my god. And it's not, same thing with Dino. Like, Dino's just so fucking boring. So, like, I really feel like the only two real LIs that I would go for would be Lucifer or Mimi. I'm expecting you there with everyone else. She got up and added as she reached the door. Don't make me drag you by force. Oh. After Plague left, I slid off the bed and walked barefoot to the bathroom. Again. The bathroom, are they going to show it? I freshened up and returned to the room. No, they're not. It's a beautiful bathroom, if you remember what I'm talking about. Some neatly folded dresses lay on the chair. Does she fold them? Did Plague fold them? Little housewife over here. She's like a little designer. And I truly do think that Plague is a stylist, because the way that she brought back everyone from the dead and they all came back looking glowed up, I believe it. I just stood there staring at them and letting my thoughts run wild until I heard students' voices and hurried steps along the hallway as they headed for the ball. Then my hands, feeling as if they didn't belong to me, pulled off my clothes and began to put on the outfit. Well, what does the outfit look like? My movements were mechanical, automatic, devoid of joy or sorrow. My shock at what had happened was so deep, my emotions had entirely burned out like a bulb that burst from too much power. Ugh, my sinuses and congestion were non-existent, and now that I've sat down at this chair streaming, now all of a sudden my nose... Can you hear me trying to breathe? I'm like suffocating over here. Okay, did I already read this? I'm just read it again because I can't remember if I did. My shock at what had happened was so deep, my emotions had entirely burned out, like a bulb that burst from too much power. The last button was fastened, and the last strand of hair was adjusted. I was ready. Let me see! I don't know why I even act surprised. I look like a damn peasant. No, because I'm not paying. Why would I pay to look good at a ball I'm being forced to go to? You know what? That's some good hair, though. I'll go with that. I like the red hair. No. When it was time to go, I felt weak and exhausted. I knew that once I stepped out of the room, I'd have to pretend to be strong, smile, and act as if I wasn't crushed. Now you don't have to. I don't think anyone's going to be smiling. I don't think you have to smile. You have to pretend to be happy. Carefully lifting my skirt, I sat on the floor and folded my hands in prayer. Oh my gosh, she really praying. But there was no one to pray to. Yeah, Chef was gone. Tears slowed down my cheeks. I suddenly realized that I couldn't feel anything at all. I tried to summon the joy of knowing that my friends had been returned to life, but I didn't feel anything. Plague had already sucked everything good out of me. The second time they ask for sure. And selecting the free option annoys me. Yeah, it is really annoying. I'd become a shadow of who I used to be. The long imprisonment, all the torture, and the humiliation had left their marks, mentally and physically. I stubbornly wiped away my tears. I'll use this to survive. For now, I have to focus on survival. I got up again, straightened my skirts and hair, and left my refuge. I'm telling you, Alice pulled out the thesaurus for this one. I love it. I love it. And yeah, I think it is the standalone Eric. I don't think it's connected to anything. Everything looks different. Like they changed. I don't. Did the school go through like a full remodel before? Because like the place where we had the ball in like book 1 of Heaven's Secret 1 didn't look like this. Like did the principal like authorize construction? All right, y'all. I really can't breathe here. So just if you hear a lot of air, excuse me. In fact, I'm going to move the mic a little bit away from my nose so it's not as loud. My blah, blah, Plague had restored a hall that had hosted neither music nor young couples waltzing for a long time. Yeah, I know it's been 10 years, but damn, they got the budget? How much? Let me ask y'all something. You think they got money in heaven? Like who's providing these services and what's their cash? You think they tax If he dies on stream, it'll be sad. At least you have something to remember me by. Oh god, I'm so sorry to just breathe right in your guys' ears. I'm so sorry. But like, I really, you know what it is? Let me text my boyfriend real quick, see if he can bring me a decongestant. Because I took one this morning and I didn't take another one. Okay. It's heaven. Maybe they snap their fingers. I don't know. Well, here's another thing I was thinking about, because as you can tell, this book has been on my mind. You know, in book one, they kind of emphasize that like if you get kicked out of the academy, do they have to pay? That's what I'm asking. Do they, other than clothing and hairstyles, they all just have like a bag full of diamonds, like the coin bag in medieval times. You know, they say that if you get kicked out of the academy, you don't really get like the prestige, I guess, of like you don't really get like real leadership or real power if you don't go to the academy, right? So like it's evident that not everybody gets the chance to like, hi, thank you, love you. All right, y'all, give me like 30 seconds to take this pill. I'm so bad at taking my medication. Something about pills, I just can't. I really can't. Give me 1 second. Just kidding, I was actually kind of quick. Okay, so this is the point I was making. Is that, like, if you don't go to the academy, you gotta work a regular schmegular job. And, I just lost my train of thought. Like, for example, in season 3 of book 1, where they went to a bar, like, someone must be paying for those drinks, right? Like, or is the bartender just sitting there for an entire shift just for fun? Or just because they have to? Like, how are you incentivizing these people to, like, work at a bar? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't have an answer. I do wonder if they have currency in here. Eric said some don't even get to come. Well, I wouldn't say don't get to come back because Andy refused. Andy and Lily refused. For two people who romance Andy, they must be pissed. I have to imagine so. I'm so glad they took him out because I feel like the writer eventually realized, like, no, it's not even worth my time to write these scenes because no one wants them. All right, back to the book. We sidetracked. If you have any thoughts on the economy of Heaven's Secret, let me know because I've been racking my brain trying to figure out, like, how do they pay for this stuff? Once the hall had been abandoned and forgotten, only the sun's rays penetrated inside and only the wind sang within its walls. But the dust was brushed away, the candles were lit, and laughter was heard again. See, who cleaned it? Who cleaned it? Who are they paying? You know what? They're not paying anybody. Plague probably put a little spell on one of them and made him clean. I slowly walked forward. Lord, I'm coughing. I had to mute the mic real quick before I coughed. The students were already dancing enthusiastically, but I could see tension and even fear on their faces. That said, there were also those who looked quite happy. That is true. That's true, Eric. Yeah, because you gotta be alive forever. It's one thing to be unemployed as a human, because you know, like, one day you're gonna die. But if you're an immortal, like, and you don't have, like, a leadership role, that seems tough. I moved on, noticing how the angels and demons shunned me. They only glanced at me before turning away as if I weren't significant enough to warrant their attention. That's right, because we're back to being unacclaimed. Rise above. We rise above. I didn't care that they thought of me. I didn't care what they thought of me or who they were going to fawn over in an attempt to save themselves. Can I just say, I just want to note this because it's something that's been on my mind. The nervousness on my boyfriend's face when he walked into this room, it's like he thought I was on camera or something. He looked so nervous to come in here while I was streaming, guys. It's like he was interrupting a meeting or something. Movie mode. Is that possible? Did it let you do that? What is movie mode? And like the art Dark Pictures anthology. Just like them, all I could think about was survival. And I don't need their support to survive. You damn right, Vicky. You damn right. I wasn't the only outcast. I'm sure there was a bunch of unclaimed that got put back in that. Yup, all the unclaimed suffered the same fate. As Plague had declared, we were second-class beings now, regardless of the role that we played before. Everything had changed. I think things just kind of reverted back to what they were in Book 1, to be honest. The ones who swore allegiance to Plague were put on a pedestal. They could bully the unclaimed and behave in ways that no one at the academy had been allowed to before. The twins cornered a young woman and chuckling, plucked the feathers from her gray wings. That's gotta fucking hurt. Another unclaimed was leaning against the wall. His lip was split. I doubt that his opponent had received a retaliatory blow. You're here. Oh, God. Mimi, girl, you look good, bitch. You look good. Mimi looked at me with a pity that felt almost suffocating. They changed the color of her eyes, didn't they? Didn't she used to be gray eyes? How are you? I forget, my boys. Adie and Sammy touched my shoulders and said a few comforting words. I'm trying not to think about it. Lucifer entered the hall. He looked the crowd over before slowly moving towards the dancers. Oh, you pick okay, you get to pick who lives or dies. Wow. Is that something you only unlock once you complete the game? Lucifer looks good too. God damn it. How he got the overcoat on top of the blaze. You know what I mean? He got the coat over the coat. This is my man layering. And he's got some like a blue-gray. Never seen him in that color before. Asshole. Oh! You know, Eric, it doesn't matter what you say. I think my man looks good. And 80! Oh my god, look at the open chest! Oh my god. 80 look fine too. Hold on a second. Sammy clasped 80's hand and gently looked into his eyes. You'd better not interfere. Oh, Sammy. Love him. Love him to death. 80's furious gaze tracked Lucifer. He'll pay for what he did. What did he do? You mean like the killing my dad? Because like he had to do that. I was silent. I took a glass of Glyph and slowly sipping it, looked around the hall. I blinked a lot, trying to banish my tears. Wanting to change the topic, I asked, do you know those twins? Yeah, those twins. Why does he look different from the last time when we saw him? I remember that twin. I don't remember the other one. They're kind of scary looking. I guess that's probably the point of their appearance. They're half-breeds. Yeah. Yes, but how is that possible? It looks like they were born when the law still forbade unions between angels and demons. It looks that way. But where have they been all this time? 80 took my Glyph, and once he finished... This bitch. He took my damn drink, and once he finished it, concluded. Hiding, obviously. Thank you, 80. Thank you. At least I haven't seen them before. And you? I didn't see them. Me neither. How did they get here? Did Plague invite them? Maybe. They seem like the calmest ones here, as if they know a little more than the rest. Oh, okay. Well, obviously we're gonna meet them. Clearly, by the amount of attention being put on them. Maybe I should get closer to them. I'm gonna walk around a little. If you're thinking about going to them, you better not. They don't look too friendly. Plague may say our pasts don't mean anything anymore, but I remember who I am and what I've achieved. They don't scare me. Girl, they should, because you don't have any fucking powers anymore, bitch. Leaving them, I approached the twins. They had already let the woman leave, having enjoyed enough of her tears, and were whispering to each other, their eyes narrowed as they looked around the hall. Hello, my name is Vicky. We know who you are. She-devil. Oh! Is that supposed to be an insult? I was a demon. He bit his lip and looked at me as if I were a piece of meat. He seemed to be attracted to my dark side. Ooh. You fought against Malbonte, and for that Shefa rewarded you with a good position. But where is your Shefa now? Now there's no one to protect you. Without your titles or Malbonte's power, you've become what you always were, a nobody. Well, they're not very nice. His words angered me, but I didn't show it. You're so brave. I wonder where you were before the law of segregation was abolished. She is playing with fucking fire. The twins looked at each other, and before they could think of a response, I asked, "What are your names?" My name is Christopher. Okay, very, very normal name for for some immortals, right? Isn't that like a little too normal? The other one reluctantly muttered, "Oh, okay, that's kind of more so what I was thinking. Astaroth. May I ask you a couple of questions?" Alright, let me go back to chat. Eric said, I was so sad when Sammy died. I know, I still feel like I'm reliving the trauma every time I look at him when he pops up on screen. KT said, no, you can do that anytime people mess up. Oh. I did not know that you could do that in the game. Astaroth leered at me, grinning obscenely. And what's in it for us? I'm trying not to clear my throat into the mic. Put him back in his place. We're spared no diamonds, for heaven's secret. You shouldn't forget who you're talking to. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Maybe you've earned Plague's favor, but do you really believe she cares about you? Even without my powers and rank, I still have connections, trust me. If I want to, I can arrange for someone to pluck your feathers. We could do that to you right here and now. Astaroth only laughed in response, stopping his brother. Don't touch her. I like her attitude. There's so much talk about her. I was expecting to be disappointed. Oh, okay, people were talking about me. Okay. Okay, ask away. What did you want to know? Okay, what should I ask them? Let's ask where you were hiding. We lived. Astaroth. What? We don't have anything to hide. It's allowed now. We lived in hell. Oh. With whom? Here and there. Father moved us from place to place until the law was abolished. Where is he now? Who? Our father? Damned if I know. Okay, they don't care. Whew. Okay, what's her connection to Plague? Connection. She's in charge now, and we're her faithful followers. How could you swear your loyalty to her? She's a monster. We were considered monsters too, so what? That's a fair. I can't argue with that. How'd you get here? Plague found us. She invited us to the academy. We weren't allowed to study here before. Nobody knew about our existence, but now... Why do you think she invited you? The twins looked at each other and just shrugged. Yeah, that's it. I turned and looked around for Mimi, Sammy, and 80. Noting them in the crowd, I said to the twins. Okay, Michael, kicking my ass, y'all. I have to go. Thank you for the fascinating conversation. I was about to leave, but Astaroth grabbed my hand and pulled me towards him. Well, that's not interesting. That's all. It's not every day we get to talk with a star such as yourself. Let me go. I don't think so. I tried to break free, but he held me tightly. Christopher touched his brother's shoulder. Astaroth. He's looking at us. Who? Malbonte? I followed his gaze. Plague. Yep. How did I know? How did I know? Dressed in a chic dress, was walking arm in arm with Malbonte. He was accompanying her to the ball like a true gentleman. Plague waved to everyone and smiled while Mabante looked straight at us with a serious expression. I mean, it's his everyday, that's what he looks like. I've never seen this man crack a smile. Ever. I mean, he got a cute suit on. It's cute. There's no emotion on his face, ever, other than, like, irritation. With a glance, he made his attitude towards the twins' actions understood. Astaroth immediately released me. Okay, get out of here. Apparently this star is promised to someone else. Bitch, no the fuck I am not. Not my man's. What do you mean promised? Yeah, what does he mean promised? You'll see. You'll see. Oh, hell. I ran my hand over where Astaroth has touched, as if brushing away any trace of him. As I returned to the group, endless questions rained down on me. What were you talking about? Are they as awful as I thought? I hope they didn't touch you. I mean, they did. I told them everything I'd learned, but there were a few details. Plague, with her head held high, walked the entire length of the hall, appearing before everyone to make an announcement. Oh, okay. Thank you for coming. This is a great evening. She looked good, though. We will do great, terrible things together. And to mark the beginning of our journey, I want to give you a gift. I noticed how the twins grinned wickedly at each other. From now on, immortals can— oh my god. Immortals can also have toys for themselves, but they may only choose from among the unclaimed. What? Yeah, bitch. 80, take me. 80, take me, please. The law of segregation you used to have was devilishly boring, but it added a little spice. Therefore, she paused and looked coyly at Mabante, but noticing that he didn't even look at her, she rolled her eyes and turned to us again. Therefore, I want the immortals to choose who they will be together with. I want the strong to be with the strong, and the weak to be with the weak. I love chaos, but chaos is stronger when you can control it. She brought her palms together and pressed them to her cheek, happily awaiting our reactions. Most didn't seem pleased about this announcement, but that seemed to be exactly what Plague was aiming for. I mean, she's a fucking villain, of course. She took one of the chairs, which creaked as she dragged it to the center of the hall, and sat down. I'll choose some of the pairs myself. Here we fucking go. Dino. She found him in the crowd, and he nodded her head. He slowly approached her. Phoenicia and I consulted and decided that Lilo would be perfect for you. Oh, of course. Well, they used to kind of date. Of course. Obvious, right? Right. Well, where are you? Come out. Several students parted to let Lilo through. She bowed to Plague. This is a great honor for me, mistress. I didn't realize that Lilo was, unclaimed. I thought she was like a born angel. Nobody ever pointed that out. I don't remember her looking like this, by the way. Her face looks different to me. From now on, you and Dino will belong to each other. I'll make sure you are faithful, or else. No, Plague's hot, Eric. She is. It's okay to be attracted to her. She's just also fucking psycho. And Casey said, yeah, they did change her. Okay, yeah. I thought she looked a little more like dollish. Not doll as in D-U-L-L, but like doll as in D-O-L-L. She looks a little bit more like, I don't know, a little more glam. Dino lowered his head. Yes, mistress. Now get out of my sight. I have a lot more couples planned. Why she look kind of happy? She's like, I'm about to get my man back. Lilo held out her hand to Dino. He hesitated, but took her hand, and together they disappeared into the crowd. Plague continued to select pairs of natural-born immortals. We need to go up there, too. What? Why? 80 grabbed Sammy's shoulders, looked intensely into his eyes. What if she chooses other partners for us? What if she separates us? I don't... maybe just kind of stay in the back and kind of like hope she doesn't see you, and then you can pick each other, you know? For a while, Sammy looked at Adie with both sadness and fear, but then he nodded in agreement. You're right. Good luck, boys. They went out to play, bowed their heads, and asked to be recognized as a couple. The horsewoman laughed and waved her hand. An angel and a demon. Guys, I like it. I'll allow it. You know what? She gets it. They're hot. They're hot together. They are. They're a good couple. Thank you, mistress. Thank you, mistress. My heart was overjoyed for them. Aw. Death had separated them, but they were together again officially. Ah! Ah! Love it. Plague approved their union, and they would no longer need to hide their feelings, fearing that the horsewoman might punish them for their love. Ooh. Let's just say love makes it. Even though I feel like this. Let's just do this. Love makes us stronger. It gives us joy, even on the cloudiest days. Some couples were denied the chance to be together. Once most of the immortals had been paired off, Plague moved on to the unclaimed. She gave them away like precious gifts. Many were tempted by the idea of owning a slave. You can do whatever you want with your toy, but others have no right to touch it. Unless you let them, of course. Plague exhibited us like items up for auction. Someone came out with their head bowed and asked for a pet, to which Plague jumped up, exclaiming, "Sold!" When Astaroth emerged from the crowd, Plague graciously said, "Choose any of them." "You're so generous, mistress." Then, Vicky. Oh my god. No. Lively whispers spread through the hall. A few more came forward, interested in me. Oh my god. I'm a hot fucking commodity at this place. Plague cast a displeased glance at my... Yeah, that's right, bitch. They want me, bitch. That's right, bitch. Glance in my direction. No, this little pet is already taken. By me. Find yourself another one. Astaroth didn't dare to argue with the horsewoman. Plague looks like she's at the gala. She is dressed to the fucking nines. I didn't know whether to rejoice or be horrified by the idea that I'd be Plague's slave and not Astaroth's. Oh! But as the noise subsided, Lucifer suddenly approached Plague. He bowed on one knee and said, "Oh! Oh!" Oh. I will sign up for this arrangement any fucking time of the day. You hear me? You hear me? I'll be his slave. I don't have a single issue with that. Mistress, give her to me. Dino is like, what the fuck? Oh! Mimi's upset. Yeah, damn, even Malbonte looks kind of irritated. What is he doing? To you? What for? We've known each other since our time at the academy. I know how to treat her so that she'll be overcome by true despair. I hated this in my playthrough since I don't romance him. I was just about to ask that. I was just about to ask if everyone has to deal with him. Let me prove my devotion to you. I promise I'll see it through to the end. No. Plague turned to me. What did you say? I won't be your slave. Lucifer didn't even look at me. He continued to look at Plague. Mistress, would you do me this honor? Oh my god, he got an evil little fucking smile on his face. Alright. The horsewoman didn't take her eyes off of me. Then her lips slowly spread into a smirk of anticipation. I will. But mistress— No, bitch. Get in the back of the fucking line, okay? You're new here. No one cares about you. Lucifer will do his job. That I'm sure of. Amen. He gonna handle me, bitch. Can't wait for him to put me in my place. Plague stood up, approached Lucifer, and poking his chin with a fingernail. The fuck? Added quietly. He doesn't want to disappoint me, right? That's right, mistress. I couldn't breathe. The room suddenly felt so stuffy that it made my head spin. But I have a few conditions. Of course, you'll give her to me on demand. And you won't remove her chains. Dino stepped out from the crowd. What's the point of the chains? She doesn't have any power, mistress. Oh, y'all are really putting your fucking, neck out there for me. Lucifer looked at Dino over his shoulder. They're needed as a reminder that she's not free, so that she understands how far she has fallen, having lost her power. In shackles, her despair will be sweeter. Okay, spoken like a true demon. Thank you, Lucifer. Yeah, Vicky looking horrified. Plague squealed with delight. I told you he could handle it. Done. Vicky is yours now. This can't be happening. Lucifer finally allowed himself to look at me, and I didn't like his expression. Oh, he does look kind of evil, doesn't he? Yeah. It is wild, KT. As for Mimi, we'll give her... we'll give her to Christopher. Why? I rushed to Mimi and squeezed her in my arms as if that could save her from the fate that Plague decreed. Damn her! But mistress, Mimi is a natural-born immortal. Yeah, that's what... Right? Okay, I started to question myself a little bit. Her parents ran away. Someone must be punished, no? I won't be anyone's slave. You will if you don't want to die. Christopher bowed to the horsewoman. Thank you for such a generous gift, mistress. Before we had time to come to our senses, Plague jumped up from her throne and, taking Malbonte by the hand, dragged him to an open part of the hall. And now, dancing. Maestro. Music began to play. The high-pitched chord sounded like a taunt to me. The strings played on my nerves, and the stomp of feet trampled my soul to mush. Again, the writing. Excellent. Malbonte bowed to Plague, took her by the waist, and they spun in a dance as if inviting others to follow their lead. I stood in the center of the hall, feeling dizzy while couples waltzed around me. We won't let anyone hurt you, girls. Oh, I love them. If Christopher or Lucifer dare hurt you, we won't let it slide. Oh! Ooh, I love Protective Sammy. Ooh. Ooh, the men are really doing it for me in this chapter, y'all. Ooh. I'm sick of tonight. Can we leave? I think that's the best thing we can do. Well, I mean, we're technically owned by people, right? Don't we need their permission or something? As soon as we headed for the door, yeah, Christopher approached Mimi. Yeah, of course you're not gonna let her go. Since we're on the same team now, will you dance with me? Over my dead body. I can arrange that. I got between them. Mimi doesn't want to dance with you. Oh god, here we go. Why are we doing this? Nobody asked her. Ooh. Lucifer stood behind Sammy and 80. They immediately turned around. From their faces, it was clear that one more word was all it would take to start a fight. Lucifer silently held out his hand to me. I don't think we've ever danced with our man. I stared at his open palm, searching for an escape route with even a 20% chance of success. I wonder if, because obviously, as I've repeated multiple times, the game doesn't think that I was in a relationship with him. So, I wonder how it differs if you were in a relationship with him. Guessing my intentions, he said, "You belong to us now. If you have any brains at all, you'll realize it's better not to argue." Mimi angrily turned to him. "Lucifer, what is wrong with you? You weren't like that. As a kid, you weren't like that." "What about in the womb? What does that mean? What the fuck does that mean?" Sammy touched his elbow in an almost friendly way. "Let them go. Please." "No." Oh, he got mad. Lucifer grabbed my arm and pulled me towards the rest of the dancers. I turned around and saw Christopher dragging Mimi with him. She no longer resisted, but her face was so pale, lifeless, and sad that even Christopher was taken aback. He said something to her, put his arm around her waist, barely touching her skin, and then they disappeared among the others. Yeah, Kate. Well, all of them are big mad. 80, Sammy, Lucifer, Christopher. I mean, the whole group. Am I that uninteresting to you? I looked at Lucifer. What? You should at least keep your eyes on me until the dance is over for the sake of decency. Okay, it's the same. I gotta go back and watch like the Lucifer playthrough and see if the dialogue is the same. I don't know what it is. Even if the dialogue is like a word different, it just intrigues me so much. I love when stuff is like adjusted for that type of stuff. Oof. This is a good chapter. He tightened his grip on my waist. What decency are you talking about? You disgust me. Ooh. You killed my father and you dared to talk about decency? Oh, she's starting to cry. Lucifer shook his head vaguely. His gaze began to wander somewhere above my head. Didn't he just say to make eye contact? Plague's shrill, wild laugh came from nearby. She was obviously enjoying her dance with Mabante. He looked like a statue, unemotionless, unhearing, and oblivious to any rhythm. He moving like he got 2 left feet, doesn't he, Vicky? But the couple suddenly began to change partners, like gears shifting places. The ladies ended up in the arms of other gentlemen. I thought that wasn't allowed. Like, you weren't allowed to touch other people. Yes, Uncle Bad Bonk. No, I'm gonna stay with Lucifer. But we didn't change partners. Lucifer led us a little further away, clear of the circle of dancing couples. Why did you do that? We just started. I didn't want to stop so soon. Why did you make me a slave? You were already a slave. I just changed your master. How noble of you. Finally, Lucifer looked at me again. It actually is. I believe him. I believe him. I think we were going to be in a lot more trouble if he didn't come for us. I avoided his gaze. I was looking somewhere over my shoulder, but I felt how he was studying my face. I wonder what you think of me. I couldn't hold back my laughter. This is getting quite savage, isn't it? They're really not getting along in this chapter. Trust me, you're better off not knowing. No, tell me. Oh God, here we go. I pondered for a moment before saying, savoring the bitterness of my words. You've risen from the dead to kneel before an usurper. Y'all, I just forgot how to pronounce this. I can't talk. What is wrong with me? The moment I get into a scene with Lucifer, I forget English. A usurper for eternity. Okay, you've risen from the dead to kneel before a usurper for eternity. That's tough. If I were you, I probably would have stayed in non-existence. I saw the effect of my words on Lucifer. Oh, I love when they're arguing with each other. KT said, got you. Yes, he's got me tongue-tied. His fingers tightened painfully on my waist for a moment, and his face became waxy and pale with rage. But he tamed his anger, and his grip relaxed. You don't know anything about me. I exhaled nervously and turned away again. He did the same. We were like 2 strangers who accidentally bumped into each other on the street. I suddenly stumbled on his foot. For a moment, our dancing faltered, but Lucifer lifted me by the waist, set me in front of him, and twirled me again. Oh my God. Ah! I had to continue the charade. His quick breaths burned my skin. I tightly closed my eyes, trying not to pay attention to it. Oh, well, this scene got me blushing. But every time we turned, his fingers I'm sorry, just give me like 10 seconds to recuperate. It's been one line after the other, and I really like... Okay. Every time we turned, his fingers glided over my thigh, and his hot breath made me shiver with renewed intensity. Shivers. Okay, listen, Vicky, if you want to lie to yourself, go ahead. Shivers of disgust, my ass. Yes, I hated him. He killed my father, and now he's made me his slave. Was he enjoying torturing me? What was he trying to achieve? I won't be obedient. I won't fulfill your wishes. I wasn't going to ask you for anything. I love him. His answer surprised me, but just in case, I added, even though Plague thinks I'm your toy, I'm not. I won't let you. I won't give up. He laughed wearily. It doesn't matter. What do you mean? As far as Plague and all the other immortals are concerned, you belong to me. Yes, Katie says shiver me timbers, yes. Is it hot in here for anybody else? Is anyone else burning up a little bit? Your well-being depends on my word. Alright, well that was a little less sexy. You can grant it to me, or you can take it away. That's right. Lucifer pulled me closer. I tensed, trying to stay as far away from him as possible. We spun faster. Lucifer clasped my palm, stretching our hands out. I continued to avoid his gaze. Why do I keep saying? I continued to avoid his gaze, but he was searching for mine. The violins and piano played in a frenzy, bringing the piece towards its inevitable conclusion. Our dance was coming to an end, but Lucifer didn't seem to want to finish it. I mean, baby, you got me all night. I have to go with you. He wanted to say something, but fell silent in mid-sentence and kept on spinning me, squeezing me in his arms. Finally, the melody came to an end. The couples began to disperse in all directions. Lucifer reluctantly slowed down. He wants me. He's not going to admit it, but as soon as he relaxed his hold on me, I withdrew my arms from his waist. Or I threw them up in the air in disgust. Our eyes met by chance. You... What? I turned around. Okay. We wouldn't even let... I kind of want to hear what he was going to say, but I guess we turned around and hurry away from him. I knew he was looking at me, and that made my back and cheeks burn. My heart was beating painfully fast. There's something between you two, but is it really hate? I ran my trembling hands over my hair and straightened my skirts. Looking around with agitation, I tried to spot Lucifer. I should be cold and indifferent with him if I want to keep my heart in one piece. We're not going that route. Adie and Sammy danced along with the others. When the music stopped, we found each other. Sammy's cheeks were red from dancing, and Adie still couldn't catch his breath. Surprisingly, they looked happy. Of course! They're spending time with their loved one. I see you're starting to like it here. It's not like that. Adie intertwined their hands. We lost each other, and now we found each other again. Let me enjoy it. Mimi rolled her eyes, took a sip of Glyphs, and stared at Plague. She sat on her throne, her hands on the armrests, and looked around at the students like a queen, surveying her people. Malbonte slowly turned to Plague and stopped behind her. He was staring at something in the hall. I followed his gaze. Kira, frightened and shy, clung to Miss Lane. Why is she here? Why is she here? Malbonte bent down and whispered something to Plague. Her gaze also darted to the young immortal. Kira, come to me. Plague beckoned her with a finger. Miss Lania had to release the child into the clutches of the horsewoman. Come, sit. Plague's oily tone was even more ominous than her cold command. Kira trembled at the request, and did as she was told and sat on the horsewoman's lap. Plague seemed uneasy and uncomfortable with holding a child in her arms. Same. She moved Kira so she could see the hall. Fenicio was talking to Dino. Dino was holding his hand as if to stop him, but Fenicio said something and Dino let him go. I hope you've got news for me. Fenicio bowed to the horsewoman. Yes, mistress. I've learned how to get rid of the abilities to influence and block off the mind. Oh! And how is that? These powers are acquired through a special tattoo. To get rid of the tattoo's effect, and Oh, it must be cauterized with a blue fire and a new one must be applied over the wound. Oh my god, Jesus Lord. Very well, Angel. Let's do this to everyone who has such abilities. Once again, Plague easily found me in the crowd. Let's start with her. Bring her to me. No. Ugh. I rushed through the crowd towards the exit. Before I had even taken a few steps, Mabante appeared in front of me. I bumped against his chest, lifted my head in fright, and met his icy gaze. Why'd I keep saying glaze? It's not a fucking donut. Go back. How does he move so fast? That bitch is like 7'1", bitch. He can clear a foot in one stride. He took a step forward, forcing me to retreat again and again. In the end, I had to turn back and approach Plague. I bowed despite the burning rage in my chest. But I don't have powers, mistress. I know. You'll be the guinea pig. Oh, okay, great, thank you. Just brand me for fun. Plague beckoned Phoenicia with her finger. Are you ready? Yes, mistress. She stood up and addressed the students. You'll witness a rite that everyone with the ability to influence minds or defend against such influence will undergo. Anyone who tries to avoid it will be executed. Plague nodded to Phoenicia. You can proceed. Someone behind me grabbed my hands and twisted them behind my back. I tried to escape, but it was all in vain. The shackles must be removed for the duration of the ritual. Plague made a point of sighing. Well, if you insist. Phoenicia looked into my eyes with a strange, open, and yet meaningful look and then removed the iron ring. I wonder if Phoenicia was, like, enjoying this. Like, I know he's always been a little bit evil, but, like, I don't know if he's this evil. And yeah, Eric, I agree with you. Like, literally the first couple of chapters of this book is just, like, completely undoing everything that we accomplished in the first book, which is annoying. He did it so sharply that the hinges snapped. Look, you've broken everything. My apologies, mistress. Oh, okay, he did that on purpose. Plague called one of her minions. Bring out another adornment. Look, oh god, he's mad. Of course she had backup. It's not like she only had two. She paused and added, for her leg. I was seized with sadness. Plague didn't intend to leave me without my collar. She was simply changing its location. Yeah, Katie said, man. Phoenicia took some blue powder from the bag, poured it onto the torch, and turned to Lucifer. Great. Can you help? Lucifer snapped his fingers and a blue flame flared up. Phoenicia approached and after a pause whispered, This will hurt. He pressed the blazing torch to my skin, piercing me with a sharp, unbearable pain. I screamed and my knees buckled. Whoever was holding me let go. Plague jumped up from her place and rushed towards me, her eyes wide and wild with delight. And now the tattoo. She pressed her hand to the burnt skin. I felt her dark power creeping inside me. No, there's no fucking way I'm paying for a tattoo of her mark. We're going cheap here. I pushed Plague away from me, full of... I don't want to say despair. Despair sounds like a bad... Resentment. She didn't appreciate the fire in my eyes. Not the emotion I was hoping for. Losing interest in me, she returned to her seat. Bring the others. While I was catching my breath, someone snapped a new iron band around my leg. The rest of my immortal powers, the rest of my energy, were drained away into it. The crowd stopped. The fun was over for the crowd, the music stopped. The fun was over for the crowd, but Plague was just beginning. Yeah. I think they make it a lot easier, I think, in this book to, like, understand, like, what makes you lose or gain points. Among the students, there were only a few immortals with the gift of influence, or the power to block off their mind. Then Plague decided to perform the rite on those who didn't need it. She laughed wildly, leaving everyone unsettled, but no one dared to leave. Of course, they're gonna fucking die if they do. After a while, she leaned back in her chair and warily waved her hand. Okay, that's enough for today. Maestro, music. The violin played again, but no one had any desire to dance. Why are you standing there? Because our skin is sore from the burns and we can't move. One couple after another hesitantly went to the center of the hall. The musicians went off key, playing the wrong notes, and the dancers looked fearfully afraid, as if awaiting her approval. I quietly made my way to the exit, barely aware of what was happening around me. I opened the door and rushed down the hallway. She's really risking it all to get out of there. Hey, this is now the second ball that Vicky has run from in the series. Vicky, wait! I leaned against a wall, closed my eyes, and tried to catch my breath. Mimi, 80, and Sammy ran up to me. Are you okay? I've been better. We'll walk you to your room. I opened my eyes and wearily looked at them. What happens if Plague notices that you're missing? Plague has already had her fun. I don't think she cares about us now. 80 grabbed my arm, helping me down the hall, and cheerfully continued. We can hang out in your room. I think we have a lot to tell each other. We've risen from the dead, and we haven't been honored nearly enough for that. Don't you agree, Mimi? Oh, yes. I laughed. Can I just say, I get that Romance Club. I don't know if, like, their scenes cost so many fucking diamonds because they give you so many for free, but, like, holy shit, 70 fucking diamonds. But obviously, you know I'm gonna say yes. 80 goes, woohoo! I can't imagine 80 actually saying that in real life, but whatever. Thanks, Shefa, you're still with us. Mimi took me by the arm on the other side. We smiled at each other and moved on. It is very expensive. I mean, I'll let it go because I think they give like a lot more diamonds and free events than most games do, but yeah. Yeah. Yep. Agree with you, Eric. 80 shoved the door to my room open and pulled us inside. Like, I fully understand, like, why people go back and replay, like, all the books, during, like, the Diamond Rush, because it's very expensive. Dibs on the bed. 80 jumped on the bed, scattering the pillows, and putting his hand under his head, said dreamily, It's good to be alive. I just can't get used to it. I sat down next to him and carefully asked, And how was it? Sammy sat on the floor, wrapping his arms around his knees, and said, Cold and weird. Can't think clearly, and you don't remember your past, who you were, or how you died. Yep, you're just kind of there, and that's it. It sounds terrible. It really does sound terrible, because when humans die, they get to, some of them go to hell, but they also get a chance to go to heaven, and, like, when immortals die, it's just, like, nothing, but you have to experience the nothing, and that sounds very boring. Not really. You don't understand what's wrong with you. You don't understand everything. And then when you don't understand, you don't suffer. 80 looked at me affectionately. How are you? What happened when we were gone? Oh, he looked a little shy there. I told him everything that had happened. As I went on, they commented, teased, and got angry. Mimi was silent. When the guys ran out of questions, I turned to her, trying to unravel the reason for her melancholy silence. Mimi, is everything okay? She immediately straightened up, her gaze regained its awareness, and her lips stretched into a faint smile. Like a robot being turned on. Me when I begged 80. Oh, what a great scene that was, wasn't it? I was just thinking, we're together, just like before. Before the war broke out and we got separated. What do you think will happen next? 80 propped himself up on his elbow. Hey, don't talk about sad things. And who said everything's gonna be bad? I mean, Sammy. Look at the situation. Yeah. I didn't think, Eric, it doesn't really surprise me you didn't sleep with him, but I can't actually remember if I went back and slept with him in the book one. I don't think I did, but I just think it was because I was streaming. So I think that's why. But if I could go back, I would. Sammy jumped on the bed to join 80. Oh, 80. His weight made us bounce on the bed and our foreheads bumped together. Hey, be careful. Laughter softened the heavy atmosphere. I leaned back, staring thoughtfully at the ceiling. I dreamed of being with them again. Dreamed of lying around like that, playing and making fun of each other. Who could have known it was possible, with the catch being that our world would be on the verge of an apocalypse. When you get something, you have to be ready to pay the price for it. It might be equal, but it erases the joy of what you've obtained. My mom fainted when she saw me. My parents were crying so much that I almost thought they weren't happy to see me. Look at his little smile! Probably only one, Eric. This cold is kicking my ass. I really don't think I can do a second one. Mimi laughed. Do you want to feel better about your parents' reactions? My family fled so that plague wouldn't get to them. I certainly didn't die, but my mother disappeared too. Yeah, that's right. Where the fuck is Rebecca? Probably for the same reason. Mimi joined us on the bed, hugged me, and rocked me as if to lull me to sleep. Oh my god, I love her. Thanks, Eric. Happy you're here. Thanks for joining. We have each other, and that's all that matters. I don't care about the rest. Golden words, little Mimi. Don't call me that. Ooh. Should I start screaming, Eric, to wake you up? Everyone but Mimi, who was pouting, laughed. I took Mimi and Sammy's hands, laid my head on 80's thigh, and said, I feel stronger around you. You're my rock and my support. Together we'll get through this nightmare. Mimi tightened her grip on my fingers. That's right. Aww, Mimi treasures you as a close friend. We'll take revenge on Phoenicio for killing Sammy and drive plague away from our lands, from our world. Do you think we can do that? I mean, it's a serious question. Can we? 80 sighed ruefully. I don't know. To hell with pessimism, we'll manage. He raised his hand towards the ceiling and clenched his fingers into a fist, as if focusing all his determination, all his faith in us and himself. We'll do it. We will definitely do it. Mimi recalled how I'd been forced to jump from the roof when I first came to the academy. The guys joked and laughed at their own jokes. I listened to their conversations like a ghost whose existence no one suspected. I was there with them, but at the same time I was somewhere far away beyond an invisible screen. I thought about how much I loved them, and how happy I was that we'd received a second chance. Yeah, KT, that we're not all getting out of this unscathed. I thought of my father who had been robbed of every chance he had. A tear, lingering on my ashes, rolled down my cheek. You're not alone, Vicky. You can do this. My eyelids grew heavy. I tried to keep my eyes open, and I even offered a few drowsy words. Eventually, though, fatigue got the better of me, and I fell asleep. Yeah, Eric, I think those are, like, them, Lucifer, and Mimi. If they die, I'm gonna fucking lose it. I'll quit. Miscellaneous stood at the table, holding sheets of paper in her trembling hands. She was reading postulates that Plague had come up with. All those born on Earth, regardless of any merits or ranks, are henceforth stripped of all honors. From now until the end of time, they will be known as unclaimed. The unclaimed have no rights. They must have an owner who decides what to do with their toy. Any who go against the horsemen will at best be punished be punished with demotion to the level of cattle, unclaimed. At worst, death. You think Miss Lania looks older? I think she actually looks younger here. Part of me feels like they made book 2 to correct all of the deaths. Well, I think that they brought everyone back because they realized that they weren't going to have like a solid, consistent story with such a limited assortment of characters, because so many different variations of people could have died in the last book. But I mean, obviously Heaven's Secret was like clearly one of their most popular books, so they're like, we gotta make one to capitalize off of this. And yeah, I agree with Eric. She looks much younger to me than she did in the original book. The further Miss Lania read, the more the paper shook in her hands, and the more often she fell silent to collect herself before continuing. Plague impatiently tore the sheets from her hands, and then crushed them and flew them into a corner. She folded her hands behind her back and, swaying her hips, walked between the rows. Lucifer and Dino weren't studying at the moment. They were off running dirty errands for the horsemen. Sheva was the strongest in your world. He locked his brother away in a dungeon. To hell with him. I hastily looked around. No one knew about the existence of Sheva Malum, but Plague spoke of him so casually that very few paid attention to it. Some began to whisper among themselves, wondering about this brother she mentioned, but it didn't go beyond a whisper. But you didn't know there were other dimensions. She proudly added, where stronger creatures live. Oh no. We can crush your world with one touch, and we'll do it if it's meant to be. The Last Judgment is coming, and you will all stand before it. Those who walk the earth, those who participated in destructive wars, those who died, and those who stayed alive. The Last Judgment will decide who deserves to carry on the species, who deserves to carry this world further. But if everything and everyone has been corrupted, the world will burn away without a trace, and I will dance on your bones in a sundress made of devouring flames. Wow. A little poet we have here. She spoke with such sinister pleasure that everyone felt uneasy. Kara, sitting in the first row, burst into horrified tears. Why is this little girl here? In every scene, she's here. She looks miserable, dude. Plague furiously slammed the table. Why do you only fear? Why do you feel fear? I'm not preparing you for him. I'm sorry, mistress. Disgusting girl. Plague sat down at the table and beckoned Kira to her. They gotta let this girl go. Come on, come here. She sat the girl in her lap and rocked her in her arms rather roughly several times. Are you done? Are you not afraid anymore? She's so sick. I love that this little child is like the only person that she's nice to. Kira shook her head uncertainly, wiping her tears. I'm sorry, mistress. I'm sorry, over and over again. Just don't be afraid. Never be afraid of anything. Fear has no power unless you give in to it. Understood? Yes, mistress. Okay. Where was I? I mean, she's kind of being nice to her, doesn't she? I guess she's kind of being nice. I kept a close eye on Plague. Her behavior sparked the beginning of an idea that I couldn't put into words yet. I promised myself I'd think about it later. Okay, I don't know what that means. Benicio entered the room. The sound of his steps rang painfully in my temples. He was so calm, so confident. It's sickening. And here is your head instructor. Tell our students what they will do. Benicio stopped in front of us, upright and unshakable, and said, you will have to infect people with the... I mean, I get that her name is the Plague, but like, can we get another trick? Can we get another task? This is boring. Your goal is to cause a pandemic and panic. The contagion needs to spread faster than medicines and treatments can stop the outbreaks. Okay, so it's like it's like the game Pandemic, right? One of the students dared to ask why they should do it. Oh, they're gone. When you hear that, they're gone. They're dead. Yep. It's almost comical, to be honest with you. It is obviously I laughed, so it is comical. The Immortal's head exploded. The students jumped up from the chairs, some even fainted. Plague's furious voice interrupted their sobs and screams. Because it needs to be done. Because your mistress said so. Let's just say I have to be very careful with her. I can't panic. First I need to decide how to act around Plague. Otherwise, I'll die. Benicio, as if not paying attention, continued. It's part of the Horseman's plan. Part of the cleansing. We must rid the earth of unnecessary people. I actually have not really gotten into American Horror Story. So, I don't know. I know it has a cult following, but the first one was so unserious to me, like I couldn't watch the rest. Even though Sarah Paulson's in it, and I think that she's, like, amazing. Only the strongest are worthy of living to see the Last Judgment. Benicio opened a book. I'll tell you how to quickly and effectively infect people. You'll be split into groups just like last time, and you will be supervised. Yeah, isn't there like 1,000 different seasons? Like, the only series that's as long or longer than the American Horror Story series is like Grey's Anatomy, I think. Look behind you. That is what happens to those who aren't careful. I caught a glimpse of the student's remains in the corner of my eye. His body, oh! His body remained sitting at the desk, and if not for the absence of his head and the blood soaking into his clothes, one might have thought he was still alive. Let's not talk about Riverdale. Riverdale's dark. It's not okay. The content matter obviously isn't dark, but the writing is poor. Benicio continued the lecture as if nothing had happened. I barely listened to him. I was scared to move and scared to breathe. Plague's presence evoked pure horror inside of me. I was only able to calm down once Plague, finally growing bored, left the room. At the door, she said, "I'll look at your results." And then she disappeared into the hallway. I wasn't the only one who felt better. The students seemed to come to life, rustles, quiet whispers, and the sounds of stifled tears slowly reached my ears. Finally, Benicio finished his explanation. "Now, I'll divide you into groups. Dino, Lilo, and Vicky. Vicky, they're waiting for you at the vortex. You can go." Why did he pair me with them? Yeah, why did he? Oh, wait, but Supernatural was on CW and I liked it for a while. I liked it for a few seasons. I didn't ask questions aloud. I just nodded and hurried to the meeting point. Dino and Lilo were talking tensely about something. They stood very close to each other, resembling two lovers. For a moment, I almost thought they were kissing until I realized that they were arguing about something, albeit in a whisper. Dino saw me. He looked straight into my eyes and immediately fell silent. That was the only good show next to Superman and Lois. I didn't watch Superman and Lois. But yeah, I like Supernatural. I feel like the last few seasons were a little like, they really dragged on, but where I stopped watching was when Dean became a demon. That was the kind of the final season I watched, because I thought his acting was incredible. What is Smallville? I know that, like, I know Smallville's popular, but I still don't know what it's about. I looked away and awkwardly said, "Benicio has assigned me to your group." "Yes, we know." Lilo moved away from Dino and approached me. Yes, I did not watch Arrowverse, but I did watch The Flash, and I know that they had, like, a few episodes that, like, they kind of intertwine. And I love that Eric is, like, pulling all these CW shows. Lilo moved away from Dino and approached me. "Everything will be fine. Just do what we do, okay?" I wonder where Lilo ended up after the war. What did she do? Maybe she died? I never thought about what became of her. I forgot about her as soon as we parted ways. It's important that we don't rush to infect too many. We need to be obedient soldiers for the Mistress Dino. The more, the better. Smallville is Clark Kent before he became Superman. Okay, I thought it had something to do with, like, superheroes and stuff. And yeah, Flash, after a few seasons, I also stopped watching that. Her tone was sharp, like that of a frustrated parent teaching a child. She barely held back her anger. There's no reason to hurry. Dino jumped into the vortex. "Hey, Narnia, how's it going?" I can see why you feel the way about The Flash, but I liked it all the way through. Yeah, I don't, to be honest, I don't really remember, like, what part of The Flash that made it so that way, like, I didn't want to watch it anymore. I think I just got tired of it. Batwoman. I also didn't watch that. See how many shows I haven't watched. Follow us, okay? Keep up. I was left standing at the edge, watching their forms disappear into the swirling clouds. Which side are you on? Vicky! Before I could turn around, Mimi squeezed my shoulders and hurriedly whispered, "You don't have to do that. Better run. It's disgusting. You'll never forget their eyes. You'll feel like you're interfering with the harmony." "Oh, it's terrible, Vicky. We've got to go." Christopher grabbed Mimi by the elbow and jumped into the abyss, dragging her with him. And that's the question I have. If we're supposed to be monitored by our owners, quote unquote, all the time, where's Lucifer? "Mimi." I rushed after them. I tried to spot them in the swirl, but the vortex carried me to where I was supposed to be. Yeah, I think that's pretty much like the summary of most CW shows, is that most of them could have ended a bit sooner. It spat me out on a busy street. Dino and Lilo were arguing about something again. You can't. What are you trying to prove and to whom? What are you afraid of? Quiet. He turned to me as if preparing the attack. Are you having some kind of problem? They do drag on for very long. Everything is fine. We do most of the work, and you're coming with us. Lilo took 2 rats out of her pocket. Oh, fuck no. Oh, I did not like those sounds. She ran her hand over their heads, and they suddenly twitched as if waking up. Keep the rat to yourself. All you have to do is touch the mortal and move on. This time, we're not killing them, we're only infecting them. It'll be more efficient. They'll spread the infection to others. Dino looked desperate. He looked at Lilo like a hunted animal. But what about the Harmony? Dino looked at me and said, Don't look them in the eyes. The Immortals, don't look at them while you do this. You only need a few. That will be enough for Plague. It won't be enough for Plague. We'll infect people equally. She repeated, Equally. Lilo squeezed the rat in her hand so tightly that it squealed and wriggled, trying to escape from her clenched fingers. Come on. She resolutely approached the nearest person. Lilo was a serious bitch, let me tell you that. One touch, then another. She moved like a whirlwind. Lilo couldn't seem to stop. She's working like she doesn't have a heart. She's an angel. No. Everyone has a heart. You just have to take a closer look. He approached a passing man. Here we go. He gonna start crying again. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like some people just kind of readily fall into the role. Like, I think Lilo is very much of the mind that, like, yeah, I don't want to do this, but I'm also not going to, like, die just because I want to protect humans. The stranger fell to his knees, and the glimmer of life in his eyes was replaced by the darkness of death. Like, I keep going back to that quote that, like, Phoenicia, or was it Dino? I think it was Dino. Like, after he crashed the car in the first season. He's talking about how, like, I know, maybe it was Phoenicio. I don't know. The younger version of Phoenicio looks like Dino. But so one of them was telling either Vicky or Rebecca that, like, angels think logically and they don't really have emotion. Or they try not to think with emotion, and that's, like, quote unquote, it makes them more rational than demons or whatever. But that, like, I feel like if you're a very logical, this is how COVID started, maybe. But if you're, like, more logical, I could see how you're like, let's just fucking get it over with, dude. Why did he die? Lilo said we'd only infect them. My rat is different. Plague wants to test me. Well, I'll work in the alleys. Last time, Mimi and I caused too much chaos with our actions. The news is still full of talk about that mass murder. He spoke slowly, his tongue barely moving as if it took all his strength. They disappeared, don't they? Their souls won't come to us in heaven? Dino froze over the corpse. No. Oh my god, I didn't know that. Dino, this is... You have to do it. You'll have to. Maybe the people you infect will have time to recover. You know they won't. I have to complete my task. Damn. I did not know they didn't get to go to heaven. Dino headed down the narrow passage between the houses. The rat in my hands visited impatiently. My palm was sweaty. Mom's spaghetti, and the animal's fur felt unpleasantly damp. I'll never not make that joke, by the way, if they ever write that. I gathered my courage and approached the girl. She was walking in front of me so I couldn't see her face, as Dino had advised. I stretched my hand forward and touched her shoulder. The girl stopped, shuddered a second later, and then unsteadily continued on. I had to do it to survive. If not me, someone else would have infected her, right? I tried to convince myself of that. Thank you, KT, for the appreciation. The faces of the immortals I touched took on a rosy color. The disease that the horsewoman was spreading was remarkably contagious and lethal. Yeah, this is starting to sound more like COVID. Surely they would all die before they got to the hospital. But that was the cruel truth of life. Some are destined to die as pawns of someone's wicked game, and some survive and continue on. I was going to continue on, no matter what happened. She keeps saying this, but then she keeps doing shit to like piss the plague off, and it's like a fucking miracle that she hasn't like been killed yet, or like snapped into non-existence. I didn't endure the war, the death of my loved ones, and my own powerlessness just to perish at the dawn of this new world. I'd survived the cataclysms. I'd survived the apocalypse and the coming of the horsemen. It was either them or me. It's starting to feel like kind of the closing of a chapter, right? It's starting to feel like closing of a chapter. The rat in my hand squeaked as my fingers closed around its neck to keep it from running away. Either them or me. With each victim, it became easier and more difficult at the same time. I moved forward, trying to think of other things so as not to drown in regrets and remorse. When I had no strength left, I angrily threw the rat away from me and wandered along the street, not knowing where I was going. Vicky, what are you doing? Dino caught up with me and grabbed my hand. I looked at his fingers, squeezing my wrists, and slowly raised my eyes to his face. I can't take it anymore. This is wrong. There's no more right or wrong. There's only one question you should be asking yourself. He moved closer. Almost too close. Yeah, take a step back. Do you want your loved ones to survive or not? I took a step back, feeling tears welling up in my eyes. I no longer have loved ones to take care of me, or to take care of. Okay. Plague took everything from me. Something about that sentence made me stumble for a little bit. I turned around and ran down the street. Vicky. I managed to run a few hundred feet before I heard a whistle. I stopped, trying to figure out where it was coming from, and then Malbonte landed in front of me, this motherfucker. The pavement buckled from the force of his landing. Cracks stretched out in a circle like tree branches, almost stretching the driveways leading to the houses. Still can't breathe, y'all. Still, I'm over here with one nostril. One operating nostril. You're not going anywhere. I backed away, but after a few steps I continued, stubbornly continuing to bore into Malbonte with my eyes. He slowly walked towards me. This is a long chapter. Yeah, I agree with you. Did you really think you could leave? I just have to get out of here. Really? Malbonte grabbed my arm like I was a naughty child and pulled me towards him. He glanced at Dino and Lilo, frozen behind me. Where's Lucifer? She belongs to him now. Frustrated by this reminder, I tried to break free. A living being can't belong to anyone. Is that so? Tell that to all the dogs on leashes scurrying after their owners. He pulled me along. Yeah, this is long. This is a long chapter, you guys. We're going back. Leave her. Malbonte reluctantly turned around. Don't make a mistake you'll regret. She did her job well. She tried to run away and will be punished for it. Oh my god, dude. Okay, I'll stand up to him. I don't really care, though. To be honest, like, I don't really care. I don't care about standing up to him. I pushed him away with all my strength. Breathing heavily, I took a few steps back. You don't have to treat me like a thing. You'll have to make me go with you. It's gonna be easy. You don't have the strength to fight me. So what? Should I bow before you now, like you all bowed before Plague? Fire flashed in Malbonte's eyes. What was it? Respect, or perhaps irritation at my stubbornness? But in the end, he just grinned and waved his hand, creating a dark, translucent dome around us. The dome hid us from the eyes of mortals and protected any city from any destruction or fighting might cause. Wow, it's a super powerful dome. I was silently grateful and satisfied. Malbonte knew I didn't stand a chance in a fight with him, yet he acted as if a real battle was coming. Alright, Vicky. Have it your way. Here we go. He released a blast of... I don't have anything to fight back with. Released a blast of dark energy at me. Stop! Dino rushed forward but hit the wall of the dome. It was I'm coughing now. His last choice? What does that mean? Like, last choice of the chapter? I dodged the attack by dropping to the ground. The energy crap. Is Lucifer gonna come save me? Because I don't have... Okay, good. Thank you for letting me know. I don't have any powers to defend myself with, so I don't know what the fuck. This is Vicky. Vicky in this book is irritating me. The energy crashed against the dome, dissipating against its surface. What are you trying to achieve with this? Is the thought that you're now defenseless before the whole world unbearable to you? He was slowly moving towards me. Oh, he's mad. Are you trying to break free like a bug trapped between someone's fingers? Do you think it's possible? Without getting up from the ground, I angrily shouted at him. Yes, I'm trying to do something. He stopped, leaning over me like a mountain, ready to crush me at any moment. You're oblivious, Vicky, or foolish if you think that you're the only one doing that. Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's quite obvious that, like, no one wants to be under Plague's rule. I think it's obvious. He grabbed me by the collar and lifted me off the ground. I clung in the air like a puppy that had been grabbed by the scruff and could only scratch desperately at his hand. There can be no power in you, or there can be no other power in you than mine. You are born as a vessel for the darkness that flows in my veins. But you are deprived of that. From now on, you shouldn't hope to find any other power in yourself. That fucking sucks, dude. It fucking sucks. I would love if this book we found some actual fucking power for Vicky. Do you know what humans see as real power? Willpower, resilience, steadfastness, and faith in a person, even when all of humanity isn't worth it. I'm stronger than you, even without your damn darkness. Oh, why he looks so shocked? Your actions and words reach the part of Malbonte's soul that's still alive and fighting. Yeah. Like, ooh, sick burn. Sick. You could kill me with one blast of your power, but I have willpower, and that's stronger. Malbonte released his grip, and I fell to the ground. I scraped my knees on the pavement, and throbbing pain shot through my bones. Jesus Christ. With the iron ring around my leg, I couldn't even stop the unpleasant tingling, let alone fight back against Malbonte. And yet I felt better than I had before the fight. I felt inner strength and confidence that I could handle whatever would happen. I was my mother's daughter. I had survived the war. I succeeded, and I'd do it again. You're damn right, Vicky. We're going back. Yes, take me to Lucifer, please. Malbonte grabbed my shoulders and, opening his wings, soared into the sky. Vicky! The wind carried away Dino's cry, and yet it echoed in my ears like a recording of our entire flight through the vortex. Oh boy. Malbonte led me down the hallway. Neither of us talked or tried to start a conversation. What is there to talk about? I felt impatience, irritation, and seething power emanating from him, which he was holding back and trying to suppress. So tall. I love when they talk about how big this motherfucker is. Something about it is so funny to me. So tall, almost enormous, with an icy expression on his face. He seemed even more mysterious than usual. He stopped at one of the doors and, without knocking, flung it open. Go in. What's in there? Is this Lucifer's room? Without waiting for me to go inside on my own, Malbonte squeezed my shoulder and firmly, but without any unnecessary cruelty, pushed me inside. Is it Lucifer's room? This looks like Lucifer's room. All the books. It's the books that let me know it's Lucifer's room. It's messy in here. Is he sitting on the floor, like, reading? I tried to resist, and when he let me go, my inertia landed me on the floor, right at someone's feet. It's Lucifer! I slowly looked up. Lucifer! Yes! You'd better watch her, Lucifer. He does need to clean up. He does need to clean. Why are you shocked? What happened? He looked straight into my eyes. She ended up on a mission with Dino. She tried to run away. Malbonte went to the door, indifferently adding, You must punish her. Okay. Otherwise, you'll be punished. Lucifer chuckled and looked at me again, almost triumphantly. You don't have to worry about that. Lucifer's eyes burned with a strange, furious fire. I fearfully backed away until I bumped against the wall. What he gonna do to me? Oh! Okay. Actually, I kind of liked that chapter. That was fun. It was a little exciting. Okay, everybody. That was an extremely long chapter. Only one of my nostrils is working right now. So, it's time to call it a night. Thank you all for joining me. I am going to be going on vacation starting tomorrow. Thank you, Romance Club. I'm going on vacation starting tomorrow, so I don't know the next time that I'm gonna be like free, like have a free evening. It's probably not gonna be until like later next week. I don't know. I might cave and stream earlier because I'm starting to enjoy the pace of the book a little bit more. But yeah, I will announce on like all of my social medias, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, blah blah blah, when I stream next. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, KT. Thank you, Narnia, for coming in. Sleep tight, everybody. Hope you guys didn't stay up too late waiting for me to finish. And I appreciate